I'll show that to you. So I put everything that you need on information and protein on one slide. So when I do a summary after a 3-hour lecture on protein for scientists, guys, right? This is the summary slide that has it all. Every bit of it is on here. So whenever you forget anything, you just come back to this. Is basically all you need to know. Those are the amino acids that are involved in building muscle, that are involved in the building blocks of building muscle. They also act as signals when to build muscle, when to break it down. We need 1 gram per pound, right? More if you're dieting. And this is the one single meal, how much your body can actually use during that time. This is the actual formula for that. And the highest scoring human protein source is whey. There is no argument there. In any community, per gram of protein, per calorie of protein, the highest essential amino acid count and closest to the human structure that there is. Makes it number 1. So there it is. That's all you need to know. We're done. Okay, so let's talk about this. So I'm going to spend about 35 minutes, then we'll open it up for questions on all of this as we go, because I'm covering a lot of material, but I'll kind of go quickly through it, because this way you've got a nice printout of everything. That's the whole thing. I want to make sure everything's on your slides for you. But this is something that's pretty amazing. There is a good and the bad to the whole thing about the protein market explosion. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not going away, and especially there's a huge addition since COVID as well. And that's because we're getting older and people are exercising. But when you look at this is the global consumer sports nutrition sales 2014, 16, and 18, and then 2020, it was the prediction from this. I took this from 2 years ago. I wanted to put it here for you. It's important. But you take a look at this market here of protein powder, and this is in the billions of dollars, okay? And look at the growth. That's really what's amazing about it. And growth is driven by the aging population and the medical establishment telling people they need more protein, which is something we didn't know until about 20 years ago. The older you get, the more protein you need. So here's the US protein powder market size. Currently, and this was 2019, that's why I put it there, it was 4.4 billion, all right? Now, and again, it's 10 billion total when you add shakes and bars, right? And that's because meal replacements are driving this number, right? Because the overweight epidemic. Protein powder meal replacements are the most successful treatment for weight loss above anything. That includes drugs, all right? That's why I've always said to all of us, it should be a business inside of your business, since it's a necessary component for all of our customers. But here's what's interesting. So in this slide I created 2 years ago, right? The CAGR, as you can see, a compound annual growth rate, that's what, for anything, you can see is 6%, which is phenomenal when you are in the billions and billions of dollars. It's phenomenal. So the pre-COVID data estimate for 2020 was it was going to grow at the 6%, right? Well, let's look what happened. You saw this from the last slide. Since this is now from a poll in May of last year, top 10 supplements increased since the pandemic. Multivitamins, 60%, obvious reasons. It's my I told you so moment, right? Vitamin C by itself in December 11, 44. Vitamin D, 37, but now, fast forward to today, it's up 400%. Vitamin D supplementation alone, obviously because of Dr. Fauci telling everyone they needed it, all right? Well, guess what? That's all in your multi. We already know that, so we got that covered, right? But protein now, and I put this slide together back in May, right? So the growth was 14%, so that's double the CAGR from pandemic. Well, guess what? It's around 30% now. I just haven't updated this particular one. So again, you're in a great place. People are thinking, they're wanting, it's an easier conversation because of all that. Now, here's the bad side. When things blow up like this, what happens is mass production dilutes the product. There's cheaters out there, nonstop cheaters. And I know you guys learned this in your certification and all the other different things you've taken from us, but I always have to preface this about protein. All your big brands in the mass market, while the price of protein was going up, they were going down. Well, what does that tell you? They're doing something wrong. So when you look at NBTY, they're the largest distributor of mass products. I'm not blaming them, they're just distributors of 22,000 mass products over there, right? They were all sued over protein claims, okay? And the biggest one was this. They were claiming 24 grams, this is like thousands of brands. 24 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs. The actual was 2.4 grams of protein, 25 grams of carbs. They were spiking with nitrogen radicals that were not complete proteins. So look at these numbers. There's that one there, and there's the one there. So these were all sued. They got away with it for 5 years. Do you wonder why ours, I third-party test everything. That doubles the cost, number one. And number two, it goes through you. It's not sold in the mass market, right? We don't advertise. So we try to save as much money so we can pass it off to you. All right, so take a look at these. These are all your biggest brands. I don't need to tell you, right? The biggest brands right here, Muscle Milk, all of these, right? Tested for their claims. There's their claims on the right. There's how much short they were of their claims. Crazy, crazy numbers. And there's just more, there's more. Look at these. This is the label claim. There's the test results. Some of them didn't have anything. All right. So just want to get that out of the way, set the stage for, everything as we go. All right. So the goal of protein mixes. All right. Number one, they're flexible. Just because whatever's in there, one serving is 25 grams of protein, one serving could be 50 grams of protein, 2 scoops. So they're flexible. You can make them any you want. They're convenient because they're portable. You can take them anywhere in a dry thing, put them in your shaker bottle, mix water with it later. They're economical in meeting that 1 gram per pound, cheaper than food, much cheaper than steak and less calories and probably more nutrition in that. No one's poo-pooing food. You got to have your food. But this is a great way to get to that 1 gram and save money on groceries at the same time. It'll pay for it over. It's basically free and saving you money. All right. So again, these formulations of protein mixes, protein, fats, and carbs, support one or more of the following goals. I just listed 6 here. And this is beyond a low-calorie protein source. That's the obvious goal, right? Low-calorie, economical protein source. 1, you can use them for a meal replacement, for weight loss or weight maintenance, right? So you get more nutrition, less calories. You can use them as a supplement for muscle gain. Get in more protein, right? But you can't really, it's easier to swallow this than it is to eat giant meals, before you go to bed. All right. And then of course you have pre-post shake. In other words, protein powders digest almost immediately and they start into the blood. So they get into the muscles in a timely basis. That's the big key to them, right? That's why almost every athlete uses them before and after exercise. And then, of course, you can use these to meet the current increased protein recommendation we talk about to make all these good things happen down here and slow the natural aging process. You're looking at almost all doctors are telling all their elderly patients to get a protein supplement now. You're seeing them nonstop being advertised. Now, here's the deal. It's a convenient delivery system for nutrients for including kids. I can tell you right now, I know you guys, I always remind everybody, both my boys are professional athletes, right? And, if they're giants, they're tall and everything else. Well, if it wasn't for me being able to get a protein powder and mix other foods that they would not normally eat into them, they probably wouldn't be where they are today. So it's a great way of delivering nutrients that are often missed, for things, people don't like, not just kids, but adults. You can make a great smoothie with them, right? With great delivery system. And then of course for baking, the fortified baked foods like pancakes, cookies, and breads. And we have all of these recipes up on our website. Okay, so quick summary, what we have. We have first string, and of course that goal is performance, size, or speed. That's basically all we sell in the pro sports, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. These are all, 4-quarter athletes, as we call them. This is what they use. Way Smooth is just high protein, low cal, so you can do whatever you want with it. You've got, of course, that's what we're going to talk about today. And then this is the all natural Way Smooth. It's identical. It's just for a different group of people. And then you got the best plant protein, which is identical also in amino acid structure as Way Smooth, but of course it's pure vegan. And those are the ones we'll break down today. Those 3 is all. And then of course we have the pre-post. It just basically works for any of the goals. It just has a little bit less carb than the first string. Okay, so you can use that for your gym population more than the athletes that are training so hard. Then Lean MR is a meal replacement. It falls into that category because of the profile here, and it's loaded with fiber. So that's your full array, and you don't need any more. And then, of course, we have the unflavored ones as well. And of course, obviously, they're all natural as well because there's nothing in them except the ground up whey. And it's fortified with a ton of calcium and stuff. My goal is not to have people have to buy calcium supplements. If you're taking a protein supplement here, it's a food product, it's got calcium in it. Take 2 scoops, you've got half the calcium needs for the day, all the way across in there. So again, these are some of our unflavored. Make sure you guys check that out because we're doing 2-for-1s right now on all those things. We got caught with a lot of them because of COVID. So we got to make sure because we order so much at one time. All right, so here are the 3 products that we're going to talk about today on the protein. So quick little protein 101. Why do we need protein? That's the big thing. The good news is on the protein requirement, one size can fit all, like I said. So healthy persons to increase or maintain muscle. No one wants to lose muscle, right? But it's inevitable. It's going to happen. There's no question. And I know you can Google me and prove it. I was a 265-pound athlete, and now I'm, of course, half the man my wife married, and she reminds me of that daily. And also to prolong health and independence. We want to keep moving, right? So bottom line is 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. Now, if you look at sports scientists, they'll tell you 1 gram per pound of body mass, or 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound, right? Which is 1 gram is a little more conservative, actually, believe it or not. All right, so throughout the day, then split it 4 to 6 times is ideal. That's to maximize everything else. Now, obviously, you got people only going to eat 3 times a day, and that's fine. But they still need to distribute it the best they can. That's a safe, effective way to meet your protein intake, right? So it can support for all muscle groups to optimize growth and development. I think I told you guys last time when my kids were babies, when they disconnected from the main feeding device, I used to load up their milk bottles with protein powder. That's how they got so big. People always say, how come your kids are so tall? I sneaked in protein while their growth plates were open to make sure they got everything they needed. Optimize growth development for the youth. And people think I'm joking about that. I'm not. Okay. So, and again, that's when you understand it's just food. It's just food. All right. Maximize exercise-induced muscle gains, obviously, that 1 gram per pound. Reduce losses of lean body mass during calorie restriction. Lower your calories. And if you're losing body fat, the more protein you need. Okay. And then overcome age-related anabolic resistance. I'm not supposed to be here. Humans are supposed to die in their 30s. We actually, for 4 million years, we did, right? In our 20s and teens. And, now that we live longer, the body doesn't know what to do with stuff, doesn't do a very good job. So we can overcome some of that anabolic resistance, by getting a little more protein. And the muscle flow effect, so all that means is how much per meal your body can actually use to build muscle. Well, this is the number, this is probably the number here. I like 0.2 grams. I did an example for you. So this would be a 200-pound human being at, say, 20% body or 10% body fat. That means they're about 180 pounds. So you end up with 175 grams, 35 grams of protein for 175 pounds of lean body mass, right? So there you go on that. So that's everything there. And so why do we need it? Well, and why do we talk about splitting it up today? Well, this is the natural cycle of protein synthesis in the body and protein breakdown every 4 hours. You guys have seen this. And we learned this back in the 1930s, which started the athletes, the bodybuilders especially, every 4 hours eating. It's because obviously, if you stop eating, so in other words, you eat, when protein is ingested, you start making muscle again. And then, of course, within a 4-hour period, it goes down to here. If you never eat again, you just don't make any more muscle, right? That doesn't mean if you keep eating that you're going to keep building muscle. It just means the cycle's going here. But if you never eat again, so the point was, if you eat here, when your body's ready to use it, you would go through the cycles. And this is everybody. So whether you work out or not, this cycle exists. Muscle mass is maintained in healthy people up to age 30. At age 30, then everything goes the other way because, again, you don't make as much muscle as you break down unless you exercise, right? So this just shows you the 4-hour time. This little slide here shows you every 4 hours. This is what it looks like. So you end up in a muscle balance. Nothing changes. By the time you go through puberty, when you're done with puberty, your muscle is done unless you load it beyond gravity itself, which is why we started exercising to make muscle grow. Okay, so again, exercise and protein. So let's look at it. From that previous slide, shows you that this is normal for every human being on the planet that is, again, around under age 30. You break down as much as you build, and you stay static. At the 30, that 4th decade of life, you start losing more muscle than you make, unless you do this. So we add exercise. If we add exercise, we obviously break down more muscle, but we also build more. We're telling it to work harder just so I can prepare for the next workout, right? And we end up with a net gain, nice little net gain. But that comes to a plateau, and there's a way of getting through that with protein by making sure that you space it out throughout the day. If you add to the normal diet a pre-post protein shake, that you can see it lessens the breakdown, right? And that increases the net. That increases the net balance there. And that's just adding that. That's not adding more protein. That's just the timing. And we call that the anabolic window. And even if this didn't exist, it doesn't matter. You got to eat that much protein anyway. You might as well take a shot before you work out and a shot after, right? Even if you can't measure it for that day. Bottom line is you got to do it anyway. You got to split it up. So this just shows you right here that this is right after you finish working out. This is all real stuff here. Potential anabolic activity. This is the percent of anabolic activity. You're right after you finish working out, there's your minutes. You are at your peak right there between 0 and 15 minutes. You got all kinds of enzymes screaming for amino acids. You've got all kinds of damage going on, inflammation, everything's going on inside the muscle that's screaming for help. And it wants to rebuild it right away. So the channel activation, nutrient sensitivity is extremely high during this period, right? Right there. So we want to have it in the system. That's why we take it before the workout, so it's already there, and immediately after, so it gets into that window. If you don't take it, the anabolic activity goes down, just like it normally does anyway. It's going to go down. So if you could miss this window, and we're saying it's probably incremental. That's what we see, that incremental amount, and we look at the hundreds of studies that have done that timing. Some didn't show any benefit, but the vast majority did show. And it really depends on how they put that all together. All right, now, and then let's go to me now. During caloric, well, not restriction, I'm not restricting my calories, but when you're losing weight, you usually lose muscle. We can offset that. We can actually put on muscle by increasing your protein intakes. But during aging, we can slow it down with higher protein intakes. But you're going to end up negative at some point in the aging process, but we can slow it down. So there it is. That's why. Simple. And the advantage, so everything you just saw, whey protein. No one argues that. It has the highest biological value of all protein. It's 100% of the digestibility corrected amino acid score, which means it matches absorption, digestion, and tissue integration in the body is greatest with whey over anything, bar none. And again, it's not way better than some other proteins, but it's significantly better. And that makes a difference when we're talking about calories and everything, okay? And that's just because it's got a higher content of essential amino acids per gram of protein, right? And it's also got, when you use like the whey protein we use, which is a concentrate, it has natural health contributing bioactives. They're listed down here. So if you use the concentrate, you get growth factors, immune support factors that naturally come in protein. These are all listed here. When you do an isolate, you strip those things out, and it doesn't have as many health benefits as a concentrate. And they both have the same amino acids, right? The advantage to isolate might be if someone had an allergy to a dairy protein. There's no lactose in any of our products. Keep that in mind. We strip it all out. Okay, but the bottom line is the digestibility, absorption, amino acid retention, muscle deposition. So the aminos come in there scores compared to other popular protein validates whey's benefits. So it should be the first choice when diet restrictions do not impede the selection. All right. And then, so you should know that first strain, pre-post, whey smooth use exactly the same whey protein raw material. The only difference is the carbohydrate that we add depending on what we want it to be, right? And then all natural whey smooth is the same raw material as well, right? But it's just, we certify naturally fed cows. And then of course, the plant protein, exact same macronutrient profile. And we actually match the whey amino acid profile. That's what we do. So our plant protein is basically as good as whey's when it gets right down to it, because we added the amino acids to make it look exactly like a whey protein. And then lean amar is the whey isolate. So they're all there. So basically we make all amino acid profiles match whey since it makes the protein superior. So keep that in mind. No matter what they're using, they're going to have the same sort of result at the end of the day. All right, so I just listed all this. You don't need to know it. This is just the comparisons between whey and other proteins. That includes beef, milk, casein. These are the things that it's highest in, obviously essential. Look at this. I mean, for 25 grams of protein, half of them are essential amino acids. And keep in mind, those are the only ones needed to actually trigger muscle protein synthesis. And it has the highest amount of leucine of any protein per grams as well. Faster digestion, less extraction, more straight to the muscle. And these are all the different things that, and these are all studies to support that. Okay, so let's take a look at whey smooth first. All natural whey smooth and best plant protein. Put it together for you. This is just the product right here. It's very flexible because you're getting a ton of protein and hardly any calories. One scoop, 25 grams of protein, right? Only 6 to 7 grams of carbs. Maltodextrins, which was what you want for a carb in a fast-acting protein, because that's the fastest absorbed carb, gets to the muscle fast, right? And that's what you want before a workout and after a workout to fill those metabolic windows. Very low fat, obviously, so it's an MCT in a plant. And 200 milligrams of calcium, remember that. That's big. And only 160 calories. That's quite a nice dose, right? And of course, it's third-party tested, as all our products are. All right, so in its native form, in other words, the way it is, right, when you get a scoop, it's structured to be flexible with the startest high-quality protein with low calories. So when like my son, he plays, pro football, obviously, and all his buddies, he's still roommates with all the guys in the Rams. So when they come over, they all use the first string. This is what they have in their kitchens as well. First string and whey smooth. They take the first string because a lot of these guys are over 300 pounds. They're taking the first string and they add whey smooth to it. Bring the protein up, but they want the carbs also in the first string. So you can do anything you want. You can add straight carbs to it. You can add more protein to it. You can do whatever you want. It's a great starting material. So for performance and body composition, fat acid, low calorie, high anabolic. For that, aging, obviously, as the older you get, probably the less calories you need. So you want as much your biggest bang for the buck. So this works without putting anything else into it. Or you got an athlete trying to make weight. If you got to make, you have to make weight, then that's really important if you get low calories with high protein. And then finally, you can add it to anything, right, to increase your daily protein, and then you can eat foods to go along with it, just a supplemental meal. So again, these are just the regular things. It doesn't mean they're all the same. The other ones too. Typical use. I actually did some math here for you guys. I mean, on per scoop, right? If you were going to do it, use it as a pre-post shake. I put some examples in here. 100 to 200 pounds, one scoop is plenty. 250, 1.5 scoops, greater than 251, because we actually take care of the world's strongest men. They're all like 450. Can you imagine? So they take like 4 scoops before a workout. These guys are freaks, let me tell you. All right, so I have the numbers in here for you. Just fun stuff. Doesn't matter. You just read the directions. You're fine with all that, and then you repeat the dose immediately after the workout. And then, of course, as a meal replacement, we usually, anybody that's going to lose weight, we like 2 protein meal replacements daily, along with your regular food plan with the right amount of calories. And that gives you more energy and spaces your meals more, right? And then anyone, you just wanting a flexible protein source that get the current protein recommendation. So it's just some typical use things there. You're looking at it. Now, this is exactly the same profile, same goal and same use. We have to look at that again. It's just a different customer. And it's that customer that wants something all natural, right? So what I put there here is this. These are the specialty things. It's exactly the same native macronutrient profile, all that, right? But it also is the same sort of ion exchange whey concentrate, but it's from these dairy farmers out here, the New Zealand-based co-op, so they're certified. So it's actually certified free. Of course, the growth hormones that they feed cows, and again, it's also certified free, no GMO. All our products are really no GMO, but these actually certified, which costs you a little bit extra money. And of course, obviously all natural, no preservatives, artificial flavors, all that. So this is all called out on the label. And of course, all our products are gluten-free. We don't have anything that's got gluten as far as pills and powders. But we just put it on there because people like to see it. Typical use, identical. As you see, nothing to go over there. Identical. All right. So everything else on that part of it there, let's look at best plant protein, which is exactly the same. But we fortified it. This is what's cool, because you can't find plants with good protein, right? With good solid protein. So we take pea protein and then add all kinds of amino acids, fermented ones. So it's got to be from vegan sources and stuff to be able to put them in there. So between little nuts and seed stuff and everything else, and then fermentation process, we load this thing up over here with amino acid structure. It looks almost identical to whey protein. So you get the same result, but you're getting it from an all vegan product. So it's got exactly the same things. You got 21 grams of protein. Now this is the unflavored. Interesting on this one here. Because first of all, I think the plant protein tastes like shit. Whether you buy the chocolate, vanilla, or unflavored, it all tastes horrible. But our vegans love it, obviously, and that's because I guess I'm not a vegan, so I don't like it that much. But this is what's great. The best plant protein here, the vegan one. My son is the fighter. This is what he uses. A lot of his fighter buddies use, and they get to put anything you want in it because it's just there's no flavor whatsoever. Now you can add whatever you want, make it whatever you want, and it's equivalent to a whey protein. So 21 grams of protein, 2 to 7, there's only 2 grams of carbs in this one, the unflavored, 7 in the other ones. And then you've got 2 to 3 grams of the fat, and calcium only 110 in this one here and 140 in this one. So again, it's a great selection and very popular, by the way. And I just wanted to make sure you see this. This is just all the call outs on the label, you know, no soy, no dairy, hypoallergenic, non-GMO, same thing we saw on the all natural whey. And of course, same as the whey smooth and all natural whey, all this is identical. So we don't need to go over that. So we just completed that now. Boom. Our placement recommendation for every human being. This is baseline for every human being, every person on the planet. If they do this, they have their best chance of being independent their entire life. This is the nutrition equation for it. We just completed it with our last 3 seminars that we have done here, and no one would be immune to the benefit because every day of life is recovery from the last, and health is the domain of nutrition. So, end of the day, here's what we just accomplished. Our baseline goal, complete delivery, we call it the prevention before cure or fix approach is what we did. We're trying to keep things from happening, right? All right, goal achieved. We hit the vitamin RDA with our multivitamin, omega-3s, the World Health Organization amount that we need, mixed with diet. If you can get that from diet, that's negotiable. And then protein 1 gram per pound in an economical way of reaching that with supplementation to save you money on groceries as well. And no one would be immune to those benefits. There, and that puts us in this category, guys. I always like to remind you, this is what we're about. I call fitness the primary preventative side of healthcare. And that's what I call prevention before cure. We don't get you when you're sick. We're not clinical therapists. We're not involved. We are taking care of your health when you have it. I think that's healthcare. Take care of your health when you have healthcare. We are in disease care. Where we are now, we are in fitness is healthcare versus the disease care model we're in. That is after the fact. And what I'm talking about prevention before cure, I guarantee people would rather go to the gym than the hospital. I guarantee that. They'd rather take a very inexpensive supplement every day for their life rather than drugs every day for their life that's going to blow out their kidney and liver just to fix a problem that was created that didn't have to be there. So it really is, we are really the prevention before cure approach when we do all the things we just looked at. So I always tell people, hey, guess what? You can work with my staff now, Fit Republic staff, that's the prevention before, or you can work with their staff later. It's your choice. That's the cure. I always like to, my worldwide lectures, I like to end with that type of thing. So people always ask, well, how do you know? You know, I set a goal when I was 24, when I left that, gang life, and sports and fitness saved my life. So I made a commitment I was going to save the world with it. People always ask me when I get interviewed, so how are you going to save the world for? How do you know you saved it? I said this, when this happens, when in every kitchen, I see in the pantry, along with all of the other food staples that you need to live, I see a protein powder, use as necessary. I see a multivitamin mineral. Maybe these calcium doesn't have to be there. Maybe there's dust on it because you don't need it because you're getting it from your diet. That's easy to spot. So bottom line, if I see that in every pantry, I'll know I've saved the world. All right. And I just put a little summary in here for you guys. Okay. This is a summary on all the things that we talked about. So you have that. And then I make sure we third-party test it all. No one does that in the mass market, obviously. I mean, if they do, what are they third-party testing? Probably something that doesn't even work. So the bottom line is it's too expensive. It's why they don't. They compete on price out there. So keep that in mind. All right, so I put some notes here and frequently asked questions, and we'll open up to your questions, okay? Just some quick notes for you guys. This is the protein blend we use. In case you need to know, the protein blend we use and the Whey Smooth, first strain and pre-post, ion exchange, 90% whey concentrate, ultrafiltration, a little bit of isolate, right? Okay, for immediate release. Then we have a little casein for extended release, but the majority of it is what we want in there, and that is the concentrate. And again, there's nothing lactose. Anybody that thinks they're lactose intolerant will not be bothered by it, so that's not an excuse. The people that are lactose intolerant can actually have this much here, and it's got 12 grams in one serving. And of course, there's less than 1.4, so it's negligible all the way around. So you remember that. Lena bar is the one isolate we have because that strips everything out of it. And sometimes overweight people want all the cholesterol that naturally appears in milk out. So that's why we use that one in there. And then the carbohydrates, as I mentioned, in these products are the maltodextrins for rapid digestion, immediate. So that's what you want rather than a slow one because we want to get in the system fast. Muscles full, stomach empty when you work out. Okay, And then the cofactors, the sweeteners that we use, and all these are the same. That includes linamar, though. But the point there, these are very strategic. Don't just look at these things as whatever ingredients. They are strategic. They have functional properties for enhancing food products, including safety, stability, uniformity, and being able to bake with it. Many protein powders you can't bake with. It turns the protein toxic at heat. These things stabilize everything so we can bake foods with these things. It reduces the sugar in it. Since sugars are things, we know the problems with that. And of course, these are all in very minute, virtually inert amounts, which means they just go right through the body, but we're just letting you know. That's why I don't have any milligrams on there. And these are the two sweeteners we use. So it enhances it. So it comes out tasting really, really good with no aftertaste. And of course, aftertaste, it takes the calories way down. Then here's the things, the natural substances that just make it so it emulsifies well. And these are things you find in every powder, whether it be muffins, whether it be a cake mix, muffin mix, that all of them, you have to use this, or you don't get the flow properly in the powders. All right, common FAQs. People will ask, why do you use artificial sweeteners? So the first answer to that, I want you guys to get this, right? Understand that when someone has, you can tell there's a lot of conspiracy theory people out there, and we now get more than ever. We've uncovered a bunch of them. But there's people that think artificial sweeteners kill you, or airplanes get crashed because the pilot took an artificial sweetener, or they cause problems. And of course, we know that's not true. Those are just conspiracy theories, and they go on the internet, and that starts this whole thing because the sugar industry doesn't want people to have artificial sweeteners. They want to just continue to cause obesity and and all the problems that natural sugar does. But the bottom line is we make all natural whey smooth, unflavored whey smooth, unflavored pre-posed, unflavored, all the best plant protein. They have no natural sweetener. They are all natural sweeteners, no artificial. So always give them that alternative, because something I learned very early on in life. Don't ever get between a mother bear and her cub. And when a conspiracy theorist has locked onto something, you can't undo it. So just say, hey, no problem. If you don't want artificial sweeteners, that's fine. We got everything you need here, all natural. Okay, so that's your first approach. But because you're health professionals, and I have to tell health professionals the truth, then that's what we have to do, because you need to know the truth answer so you don't spread conspiracies. But bottom line, here's the answer. It's better and healthier than sugar. And they are FDA approved. The FDA doesn't even approve supplements, but they approve sweeteners. Okay, they are food products, right? And they give better taste, so people will continue to use these products to improve their fitness results, other than getting up because it doesn't taste good, because they're all natural. One. Two, there's higher nutrition, the obvious one, higher nutrition per calorie and sweetness to support your desired body composition. And of all of them, sucralose is number one. Nothing's even close to it in supporting weight management, body composition results, right? Of all sweeteners, that includes natural sweeteners, of course, even calorie for calorie. And there's no calories, of course, in sucrose. Also supports blood sugar. It's approved for diabetics. Sugar's not. Natural sugar is not approved for diabetics. Artificial sweeteners are. And unfortunately, about half our world's diabetic right now. All right. It decreases adverse reactions common with natural sweeteners. Honey, stevia, lactose, fruit sugar, these are all natural, right? And the residues that these things are extracted from pollen, they're in those. So the only complaints we ever get about like a quivering of the lips or throat or some sort of allergic reaction is only from our natural products, never from the other ones. Okay, so it decreases adverse reactions. It supports weight control, obviously, versus contributor, and it's approved for children. Well, guess what's not approved for children? Added natural sugars are not. All right, so this just gives you all the numbers, the FDA stuff, all these are the studies. Here's the American Academy of Pediatrics. It approves the use of sweeteners. And why? Because kids are getting fat on sugar, natural sugar. So here's a common myth. This is from my lecture on common myths that we did middle last year. Myth: artificial sweeteners cause cancer and other health problems. Actual, they don't. But natural sweeteners, they replace might. And there's 2 new studies that show natural sweeteners leading to cancer and some other different problems all the way around. Natural doesn't always mean healthy or safe, regardless if it's sugar or whatever. Well, you know what? Natural food allergies kill, sicken, and added natural sugar causes obesity, tooth decay, and diabetes. Non-nutritional sweeteners or artificial sweeteners, none of the above. Anybody ever seen this on foods? All our food products have this. Natural, 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 natural. These things can kill people, so they have to be warned. So you got to put things in perspective and get it. That's the whole thing. Natural ingredients of foods, adverse events range from being mild, hives, itching, right, which we find with some of our natural sweetener products, to severe, ER visits, death, and anaphylactic shock. All right, so again, just put things in perspective. This is on all things with added sugars now as of this year. Drinking beverages with added sugars, natural, no matter what it is, right, contributes to obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. Here's one that has artificial. There are no warnings. So keep those things in mind. Again, I'm just telling you, you don't have to explain this to someone that doesn't want to. Just tell them, give them the products that we have for them. You just want to make sure you're a fitness professional, because the problem I have is this, and I've said this long before everybody else heard about it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect it. Good. But no one's entitled to their own facts. So when people start getting on this stuff about, I'm so sweeteners, you better shut up, because you are not qualified to make that statement to anybody outside of yourself and maybe your immediate family. You are not qualified. So that's why I have to teach health professionals the right thing. I wish I didn't have to do that, but the bottom line is that we're stuck with that thanks to the internet. All right, questions. I know the soy lecithin in Amino Boost and protein powders contain soy. This is a big one we get often. The answer is this: there is no soy protein in Amino Boost or any of our protein powders. Only soy lecithin, okay, which is an emulsifier. Soy lecithin in all the powders, again, cake mixes, muffin mixes, pancake mixes, they all contain soy lecithin in minute amounts. That's why there's no measurement on it. But that's the only way it'll mix. It will not mix unless that's in there. And it's not from the soy, not from a soy protein, it's from the fat of the soy. So there's no allergic reaction. All right, so that, but you have to put it on there. It's just something you have to do by law. And this is from the FDA website. It talks about it will not trigger soy allergies, and just an FDA food product that is just used for emulsification. So again, that's right off their site. Just let people know it's not from soy protein, and it's an infinitesimal amount. You can't even measure it. Okay, and then the other one, I made a little slide here for you guys, so you can put it on your desk all the time. Third-party tested. The reason I did this, because our products are absolutely, our protein powders, now I know you know why, are a little more expensive than you buy at CVS or anything else. Well, we know they're cheaters. And as far as I'm concerned, integrity is like virginity. You have it once. And you know what? They screwed up bad many, many times. They've already blown it. They've been busted for so many different things. So the mass market is just off limits to anybody that's working with me. That's for sure. But ours always win taste tests. You'd be surprised. There's number one reason why ours are better than the other ones. We also, again, we also are preferred by our athletes and everybody else. That's what they order for their sons and their families. They are third-party tested for the ingredients. So no protein spiking, as we just saw a little while ago, all of those things there. But we're very competitively priced per gram of protein. The bottom line is, keep something in mind. It's worth it for have them go through you, because you integrate the product into their workout. You integrate the product into a proper programming. Well, guess what? When they buy it at CVS, that clerk isn't jumping over the counter and taking them through a workout. They're not following them up and making sure they're getting all the right stuff. That's not happening. It's happening with you. So that's probably worth $1 or $2 more, not to mention the third-party test. At the end of the day, mass market powders do not come with a gym or professional staff, right? That's what I mean. And of course, it's synergistic with all our products. We don't spike or dust or add things in there that could be harmful without people knowing. And big one here, last one, cofactors make it perfect for baking and cooking, right? Pancakes, cooking. We have tons of these recipes up on the website. Done. Your turn.